Gary, Charlton at home this weekend. Our first game following the end of the January transfer window. We did speak on deadline day about the business, but just to conclude January as a whole, I imagine you're pretty pleased with the 6 additions that we've made.
Yeah, we're happy. We had a clear plan going into the window. It pretty much carried out how we wanted it to. There was a few departures that obviously you have to adapt and be ready for as a football club. And it took us a little longer to get the players that we wanted, but in the end we're quite happy. We've created competition within the squad, which was always the aim. We will review that internally so we can be better for the next window. And now the hard work begins of integrating the players, making them comfortable in the area and ready to perform on the pitch.
And I think looking at the players we've brought in, you've sort of added little bits in different areas. You've got the promising youth like Joe, and then perhaps the seasoned pros like Kevin McDonald, just sort of both ends of the spectrum.
Yeah, I think there was a plan to get some experience in, to get leaders into the club. I think we have a really young, dynamic, energetic team that at times can do with a little help and support in that department. So that was one of the criteria for certain positions, but also this club is about younger players. This club is about developing talent, and we've obviously got Joe from Newcastle on loan to develop him, but also James Scott, 22-year-old, a young player who didn't quite work out for him at Hull, but we feel that this is a fantastic place for him to come and resurrect his career. And he's a player that only 4 years ago was bought for over £1 million, and we've got him for nothing to try and, like I said, bring him back to the best that he was before he went to Hull.
I know, rightfully so. I think based on their performances, there was a lot of interest in the window in Giovanni Brown, Sam Nombe, Josh Key, and other players. But I think you've said you're very grateful for the board that have left us in a position that we had no reason to sell those players, and we've done all we can to hold on to them, and successfully so.
Yeah, we did, and it shows the board's ambition for the football club, but it also shows how we kind of hold these players and what we think they are worth. Was at no point was it even close to reaching that. So it didn't feel at any point like we were going to lose them. It was only Josh Key and Giovanni that any bids came in for. There was no other bids for any other players, so we had to, fend off a little bit. But like I said, Giovanni is the second highest contributor for goals in League One this season. Josh Key is an unbelievable talent with speed and physicality that's hard to find. So we hold these players in really high regard. Josh is an academy player, and that again is special to this football club. And it was going to take a huge amount of money to get either player, and no club came close to that.
On the subject of Giovanni Brown, the player who scored both goals last weekend at MK Dons, and that was a really important result, bouncing back after the defeat at Portsmouth. And it's important that we build on that, especially at home in front of another, looks like a sellout home crowd.
Yeah, definitely. It was a difficult game against a team down the bottom of the league. We've found Morecambe, Forest Green recently. There is no easy games at this level, and Saturday was another really tough one. And I thought first half, for our own standards, we were really poor. We're quite fortunate to go in 1-0, but I thought second half we improved a lot. How we went after them, how we won the ball back higher. The second goal being a fantastic example of that, with Noms doing his work, chasing back, and then the counter-attack. We got a little bit of break of the ball, but Stano, Giovanni and Arch, leading that counter-attack with Noms' hard work. It's a goal we've scored quite regularly this season, so it was a big win, and like you said, it's something we have to build on. We have to put a run of wins together to maintain our position and look higher up the league. Given
the new additions to the squad, you trained here at St James Park this afternoon ahead of the game on Saturday. How important is that we're able to train on a surface like this before the game to gel in the new players and get them used to the surface and the surroundings?
I need to thank Chaz for that. I don't think he's too happy with me. He didn't swear at my face, but I think he might have swore as he left the room. But again, it shows what this club is all about. We all pull together, and I understand how important his pitch is to him, but it's an incredible condition. We've been very gentle with it today, and hopefully, or I'm sure it will be in pristine condition for Saturday. But we felt there's a number of reasons really. We done some work with the players within a classroom environment, just going over some things that we feel we could improve on, and we needed a room to do that. We didn't have anything at Cliff Hill at the moment. We will in 2 weeks' time. So we felt to come here and utilise the space that we have at the stadium was good. I had a board meeting this morning, then the board met all the boot room this afternoon. So again, another reason for us being here. But probably the biggest one was for the new players to see the environment, to get a feel for the stadium, so that come Saturday they're ready for when it's full and the noise level is ramped up, but they feel comfortable in this environment. So like I'll say again, thanks to Chaz for allowing that, because I understand how difficult it will be now for him to turn the pitch round, but I'm sure it'll look great on Saturday.
I'm sure we'll manage, Gary, it's all right. In terms of squad availability, Jamal was absent obviously with that injury last weekend. Josh Key was absent as well. In terms of availability for this match, is any other concerns, or are we almost back to full?
Josh will still will miss out again. His hamstring isn't quite right. I think he'll be fine next week.
And it is a hamstring.
It is definitely a hamstring. There is no ulterior motive other than a hamstring, or he would have been playing last week. But it is a hamstring. Thankfully, it's not too bad. But with the type of player that he is, he's so explosive. We have to be 100%, right that it's ready to go, and we'll assess that. But I think he'll train next week. So he's the only one missing out, and Jamal training today, fully fit, ready to go again.
Charlton have changed their manager just before the new year, brought in Dean Holden, and made a few changes in the transfer window. Jaden Stockley, one of their strikers, left, a former Exeter City player. What do you expect from Charlton from what you've seen? Obviously, they were on telly last week. You may have been able to watch a bit more of them.
Yeah, it will be a difficult game. I know Dean really well. He's made a big impact since he went in there. Their results have improved dramatically since his arrival, so we have to be prepared for that. They are quite a similar team to MK Dons. They play 4-3-3. They're a little bit more direct than MK Dons are. They play in the right areas. They have wide men who are dangerous. So we have to be prepared out of possession to stop that. But in possession, we have to be as good as we can be on the front foot, get the crowd on our side, and get this place rocking so that we can be a real threat in the game.
Something I'll end with, something you've said throughout your time here. It's been on the Exeter City badge for so many years, but it's not really been talked about. Semper Fidelis is what you always say, always faithful. What does that mean to you? Because it's something that Exeter City fans have started to pick up and start using now, and perhaps it probably means more than we really think about.
Yeah, it's something. I actually tried it at Partick Thistle. It didn't really work, but they had a thistle on their badge, and I always think you're representing that football club, and the badge to me means something, and should, whatever it is within it, there should be things within that club that represents the club. And I mentioned it in my interview that when I seen that and I looked up and what the meaning was, then it's everything this club stands for in terms of the loyalty and the family club that it is, and I'm quite big on that, and I try and get that across to the players as well, that you're obviously playing for your own careers and you're playing for a football club, but you're playing for more than that. You're playing for a club that's been here a long time and went through a story, and that those two words on the badge are a big representation of that story. So I think it's really important that we all understand that and buy into that.